Yo, my name's Isaac, and I'm going to teach you how to increase your pull-ups no matter what level you're at. The only things you're going to need is a bottle of chalk so you don't slip with your grip, and then a band. When it comes to doing a pull-up, you're going to have to divide it into three different parts. So part number one is the technique. Part number two is the exercises. And then part number three is structure. The pull-up is divided into three different parts: the scapular pull-up, the rising phase, and the elbow drive. The scapular pull-up is really important because if I don't activate my scapulars and I pull using only my arms, I can only get this high. This will limit your ability to get your chin over the bar during the rising phase. And the third phase of the pull-up is the elbow drive. If I don't use elbow drive, I can only get so high, so I really need to lock my chin above the bar by thinking about my elbows going behind my body. Now, to put these exercises into practice, we have the scapular pull-up, and if that's too hard, you can use a band to activate your scapulars even more. To build the majority of the pull-up, we're gonna do two exercises. Number one is the normal pull-up, and number two is a band-assisted pull-up. This is working through the full range of motion, and we're gonna adjust the intensity of the exercise based off the skill level that you're currently at. Keep in mind, when you're doing the pull-up, you want to go all the way up and all the way down. You don't want to let go of the bar before you reach that full dead hang position. And when you go up, you want to make sure that your chin makes physical contact with the bar so you know that each rep at the top is perfect. Now, you might be wanting to ask, Isaac, I'm getting stuck in the pull-up quite often and I'm finding it really hard to get my chin above the bar. So what exercises can you do to remedy this? Exercise number one is the pull-up hold. This is when you're making physical contact with the chin above the bar. You don't have to pull up to get to that position. You can find a lower bar, jump up, or have a platform that allows you to get up straight away. And then you're just locking your arms and making sure that you're holding this for about 10 seconds. And if all of that is too hard, it's acceptable to hold it at the halfway point and gradually work your way up so you can hold your chin above the bar. When it comes to making sure that you're not stuck in the pull-up, doing full range of motion pull-up negatives is a really good method. What you want to do is you don't want to waste your strength doing a pull-up to get to the top of the bar. You want to find a lower bar or jump up and lower down slowly from the top position. Try to hold it for at least 1 second at the top so you know that you're in the right position, and then come down slowly for about 3 to 5 seconds before you come into a complete hay. A really common mistake is you let go too early before your body has completely sunken down, because all the gains that you're going to get is from that tiny range of motion. When it comes to locking out and finishing the rep of your pull-up, you want to include elbow drive. The best exercise for elbow drive is doing an inverted row. We're simply going to find a really low bar that we can plant our feet on. We want to make sure that we're actually going to pull to our chest. This means you might have to bend your legs to position yourself so that your hips are pushed forward, your glutes are engaged, your hamstrings are activated, and you're bringing the bar to your chest with full range of motion. Most beginners skip out on this exercise and they can't get the chin above the bar because they simply don't have the rear delt strength and the ability to drive the elbows backwards. If you want to learn the muscle up and other pulling skills such as front lever pull-ups in the future, then you need to put more emphasis in horizontal pulling and use your rear delts more. So do not skip this exercise. When you're doing the pull-up, make sure that you don't pull slowly. Lots of bodybuilders, they will do really nice and controlled reps, and sure, it activates the lats, activates the back muscles, but it's not efficient for calisthenics because our goal isn't to build muscle, it's to be explosive, to do many reps of pull-ups and to eventually do the muscle up and the front lever. And in order to do that, we need to build strength, and strength comes with speed and explosivity. One of the most limiting factors for people that are starting out in calisthenics and trying to learn the pull-up is their grip strength. They can't hold onto the bar for long enough, and when they do, their palms hurt a lot because they haven't formed calluses yet. At the end of your workout, it's really important to do some dead hangs to build up that strength, to compress your skin so you form calluses, and to also strengthen your forearms so that you can hold onto the bar for longer and do more reps. Now, this part of the video is exactly what you've been waiting for. I'm going to teach you how to increase the reps of your pull-ups in the best way possible. And we're going to divide this into three parts again. The first part is form. We want to have a nice and wide width And the reason why is because the range of motion gets decreased when you hold the bar wider. It might be hard for you to get used to this, but once you start putting in more reps and getting more practice in the wide grip, you'll really find the benefits. The second part is rhythm. Now, this is the most important part. We want to make sure that when we do our pull-ups, we're having a nice flow going. When I'm pulling up, I'm going in a small C-shaped curve. When I'm at the top of the bar, I want to position my chin so it's just above the bar. I don't actually want to be holding on and creating tension when I'm at the top. I want my muscles to be completely relaxed because I'm relying on all the force at the bottom to pull me up so that I just get up. And when I'm up there, then I actually want to shove my body off the bar a little bit so it comes back down. And then when I come down to the very bottom part of the pull-up, I then tense my arms, and then I use the stretch reflex in my lats to bounce and come back up onto the next rep. I know that sounds really confusing, but this simple exercise will help you learn how to develop that mind-muscle connection. And it's called the dead stop pull. What you're gonna do is you're gonna start from the bottom and you're gonna pull to halfway and use momentum to carry your chin above the bar. And you're gonna allow your body to fall down once the chin has gotten past your bar. Now that you're falling, just before you hit the dead hang position, you're gonna tense your muscles. And the reason why it's called a dead stop is because when you go down to the very bottom position, your body stops swinging altogether. The reason why people swing a lot when they're trying to do the pull-up reps is because they haven't put enough emphasis into destroying all momentum at the bottom of the pull-up. So don't skip out on this exercise if you want to do more reps. Now you know what the width should be and you know where to pull, such as a C-shaped curve and then slightly pushing off again, and you know how to destroy momentum so you don't create swing. We have to get into our flow state. So how we do that is a few methods. One is we can use our head to bob. So as we go up, we pull our head in, and as we come down, then we pull our head back, and we use that to create momentum. And it kind of looks a little bit goofy, but that head movement will help guide your body. The second part is we can create momentum by doing CrossFit form, but containing it within a strict pull-up. Lots of people don't know that you can actually kip without kipping. And essentially when I do a pull-up, I imagine that I'm doing CrossFit form, but I'm just bottling all that momentum by reversing the motion with my hips or with my core. So I would mentally try to swing my legs, but the reason why it doesn't look like I'm actually swinging my legs is because I have pushed my core in so much that it physically stops me from displaying that. So pay attention to my pull-up form when I'm doing it for multiple reps. You can see that I have intention to kip, but my body part, such as my core and my glutes, are working in an opposite direction to destroy that momentum. Now, the third part to all this is pacing. So let's just say that you think that you can do 20 pull-ups. What you want to do is you want to try to do 15 non-stop pull-ups, something relatively short of failure. Now, when you do your momentum pull-ups, you want to try to do it non-stop so you get to 15. Once you get to 15, that's when you can take a break. You can start to do a few swings. Make sure you only do one swing and then pull up, and another swing, then pull up. And as you get closer to your goal of 20, then you can do 2 swings and pull up, and another 2 swings and then pull up. When you're doing these swing pull-ups, you're gonna do a 3-part movement. It's gonna be scapular, rise, and a really hard elbow drive. You're no longer flowing and doing dead stop momentum pull-up style reps. You're just putting as much force as you can into it. This is akin to what people do in weighted pull-ups. They're just thinking about a 1 rep. So don't try to add momentum stuff that I talked about earlier when you're doing these swing pull-ups.
Okay, so for this section of the video, it's so hard to explain with the current format, so I need my trusty finger to point stuff out. So pretty much I'm going for my max pull-up attempt, right? And you can just look at my width, like look at my fingers. Look how my chin is barely going over the bar, but it still is. And if we pause it halfway, like I only pull over here. I'm only tensing my muscles up to here. The rest of this range of motion, when I go up, I'm not using any of my strength, right? It's all passive. the momentum from this range carries over here, and I just let my body fly. And then when I'm coming down, I'm not holding onto the bar, not tensing my muscles, I'm just letting it fall. Okay, so if I play it again, boom, 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 boom. The only time that I'm tensing my muscles on the way down is just before I hit this bit. And that's why the dead stop momentum pull-ups, that exercise I showed you before, is so important, because look, when I tense all the muscles over here at the end, I don't go into a full dead hang, so I'm using my elastic potential to go up and down like a trampoline. Boom, 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 boom. And get this next part right. Once I get to my non-stop pull-up max, then I'm doing a different style of pulling, which you'll see. Yep. Here, yes. So I use one swing, pull, and I'm doing an explosive movement. Then I do another swing, pull. I'm gonna do one more, boom, and then I'm giving myself more rest. So this is 2 swings, and then I pull, and I do 2 more swings, boom, after this one, and then pull. Once I maxed out that, then I'll do 3 swings, so even more rest, and then I go. So that's the technique when it comes to maxing out a pull-up.
The way that you progress from here is, now that you've hit 20 reps and that's your PR, you want to go for 21 reps. And you don't want to just try to get a 21 reps. You should actually try to get 16 non-stop pull-ups. So this next session that you're doing, try to aim for 16 non-stop pull-ups. If you actually hit that, then you can go for 21 reps, because it's really inefficient if you just try to go for the 21 reps when you're not sure at what point you can actually achieve it. So then the next session after that, instead of getting 22 reps, you should get 17 non-stop. And let's say you can't get 17 non-stop, then that's your sign to not fatigue yourself and just stop the set. Wait for the next session when you can get 17 non-stops. And then after that, try to go for 18 non-stops, which is your green light to get 23 pull-ups, and so on and so forth. Now, all this information is very valuable. I don't think I've seen it explained anywhere on the internet. This is where my challenge comes in. I want you to get +5 pull-ups within the next 30 days, following my techniques and following my structure. If you're interested in doing this, make sure you tap in the link below. I have an app set up that will help you see all the exercises, all the reps, all the sets, how I structure things so you can target all your weak points. You will also be able to understand when you will do an intensity day and a volume day and all the jazz that comes around it. So if you're ready to increase your pull-ups and you want to know what training with me is like, then tap in the link below and let's start.